I want to talk about something that I swear half the people in this preparedness community are missing the entire point of. That's this whole doomsday, myopic, laser focused preparedness, and then forgetting totally about preparing for something that's going to happen on Tuesday. You know, this doomsday versus Tuesday. We got to be ready for next week, and this is important. So hold on just a second. This sun is hot, which, by the way, I don't know if you can see those clouds. It's about to rain. Let me get in the shade and out of this wind, and we'll talk about it. Y'all stick around because this is going to be important. So what I really mean by the fact that most people get this wrong is it's a whole lot more fun to plan for this doomsday stuff. It's a whole lot more fun to, buy all the rifles and, stack up pallets full of ammunition. Do all of that thing, the bug out vehicles and ultimate bug out bags and everything like that. And while all of that actually does have a place and it is needed, the thing is most people forget that Tuesday happens every week. So what are the things that we can do to prepare us for this future dystopian aliens attack the world or economic collapse or whatever that may be, while still being able to benefit from it today? Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to wait until doomsday to live a good life. I want to start living a good life right now. So in order to get to that point, we need to start producing as much of our own inputs today as we can. And this is where it comes to things like gardening, chickens. We're talking about, the food thing. Chickens are the absolute easy button for eggs and meat. And just the fact that you can produce some of your own food can make a huge impact on how you're going to do if everything were to collapse and still benefit us today. Another thing that we need to remember is it doesn't matter how much fuel, generators, all of that stuff that we have stacked back. If we have an emergency come up today, none of that does us any good at all. Sorry, there's dogs barking. And as much as we don't want to admit it, the way the world is running now, and if you're watching this, well, society is still functioning. The world today operates on money. So what can we do to increase our incomes so that we've got something to fall back on? If we lose our job, we've got something to go back to get us through until we can get to the next place. Or maybe it's a full-blown, we just own our own business. But keep in mind that entrepreneurship doesn't necessarily mean that we need to quit our day job. There's plenty of entrepreneurs that make more money doing their own thing while still keeping the job that they've had for years and years. And that's also an option too. If you know how to code, you can build websites. The thing we need to remember is that while society is functioning, regardless of your thoughts on inflation and American dollar and any of the economic things going on, the fact that you're watching this means society is still functioning, which means we have to have money to be able to participate in that. And we certainly don't want to have to go off selling all of these firearms that we bought because we had a blowout tire or something of that nature. Another thing we can do is start learning these hard skills. The rush of everybody learning how to live during a collapse. You have this fantasy that the world's going to end and you're going to get your survival seeds out of your vault and you're going to plant them and you're going to start living entirely self-sufficient. Well, survival seeds and heirloom seeds, they don't need to be in a safe spot. They need to be in the ground, like today. That way you can learn how to grow them. Learn if they're even going to grow in your soil type. And just because you know somebody that's had success, 10 miles down the road is a completely different soil type. And we can't even grow the same stuff here as they can there. I've already brought up the chickens, and chickens are a wonderful thing, not just for food, but think about the compost. Compost goes and it adds back to your garden. They tend to pick out the bugs that would normally eat your food. They'll keep all that stuff down. And then the excess from your garden, or maybe the stuff that, got bugs in it or something like that, or just the surplus that you can't do anything with, throw that back to your chickens. It's all of this works into a big circle, and it all feeds in on itself. So instead of worrying so much about how we're going to live during the collapse, why don't we just start living that way now, at least to the best of our ability? You're never going to be able to make it without a community of people, but you can do everything you can possible to get that way now. So start making as many of your own inputs as possible and get your money up. Figure out some way to do that, if that's, getting a promotion at work or some type of, side hustle business. And that right there alone, just getting your income up, is going to do more for you than any of these going into debt and buying, tons of rifles. And make no mistake, everybody says, well, the debts will all be gone whenever society collapses. That's bullshit. One of the biggest businesses during the Great Depression was the guy that went around and bulldozed people's houses, or the guy that went around and repossessed all the stuff for the defaulted loans. Times will be desperate, and you'll be more likely, it's more likely that somebody will come after you for a debt after a collapse of society rather than before. But anyway, that's just some points to ponder, points to think about. Let me know what you think about it. Let's have a conversation. Until next time, get up, get outside, and go start doing the things, man.